Alright, welcome back for the next one. I skipped a tiny little bit. When you come out of the university there in Prague, you just walk around to the gate right next to it, go through the gate, and it teleports you to the outside of this haven. So I went down, saved it, just in case, and then started the recording from there. So we're now out in the outer Ringstrasse. Around to see what's here. It's the eastern, which since we hit that first, we'll go in there. Here's our magic shop for Vienna.
Another Tremere.
Nay, here's mortal. I can smell it.
Aye, not Tremere, but a mortal mage of the order that splintered into the Tremere. He may be useful.
Hail to thee, mage. I am Christoph of Clan Bruja.
Hail to thee! I am Orvis, mage of the Hermetic Order.
I skipped over the messing around in the shop. I would have skipped over this, but I decided not to at the last minute. I got a couple of things to help with his Serenity and Blood Pool since he's using the Berserker Axe, although I will quite likely be swapping that out after this upcoming mission for something else to get better. We'll see. This, I don't know whether to wag my finger or thank the designers of this game for going so all in on the character design of these three female
We're looking
crew.
for a Ventru named Orsi. Canst thou tell us where we may find him?
Come to his mansion in the Western Ringstrasse.
I mean, you can even
Tonight
see
there's a
the,
feast
the
in
lighted
honor of the
shaded
new
outlines of
solstice.
their asses and
Here's
belly
an
buttons,
invitation.
and
On the
they actually
finest
modeled
virgin
3D
skin
cleavage.
parchment.
So,
I
yeah,
like not
they
this talk
spent
of
a
the
lot of
skin
time on
virgins.
designing these three. I'm reminded of the story from Transformers Beast Wars where the character design for Black Arachnia was based on, they got one of the animators drunk and took him to a strip club, and he based the character design on an Asian stripper that was there. Whether or not it's true, it makes for a good story. Okay, so that is where we will be going eventually. And this is our armor and weapon shop here.
We are welcome in the weapon shop of Friedrich von Vetter. There are no finer weapons in all Vienna than are herein.
We seek mended armor.
Thou hast an impoverished look, and the demeanor of outlanders. Hast thou coin to pay?
If such uncharitable suspicion is the custom of the land, I am glad to be an outlander.
We are merely weary and dusty from the road. We can pay our way.
We can pay in
Like how she's
gold
always standing
or
off to
in
the side in
blood.
the shadows.
The choice is thine, Von Sweeter.
Sometimes she seems more like a Lasombra than a
How may I
Captain
be of service?
Same
Very
thing, I
well.
skipped with him, so now I'm just cutting to where we put on the uniform I got. That half plate looks weird, I think, on him. It looks like it took away armor rather than put it on with the character designs, but whatever. And I don't know why I did not sell back the armor I just took off of them. I really should have, but I didn't. I don't know why. Okay, so now we have got that done. We head to Count Orsi's, and there's a lot of talking coming up, so.
This must be the house of Count Orsi, the slave master.
All the fops, bootlicks, and toadies in Vienna are here assembled.
He makes no bones about it. Even his door has people chained up in slavery on it.
Welcome, Canaanites. I see thou hast met my children. This is Kazi, Teta, and Zing, the most beautiful daughters of Cain thou
Yeah, I
shalt
got a feeling
ever
somebody
meet.
who designed those three character models really
Unfortunately,
needed to get out.
Teta and Zil lost the ability to speak during their mortal lives. I found them in servitude to a rather harsh master that saw to it to remove their tongues. He was dealt with in a fitting fashion, eh, say my darlings? Don't worry. Kazi is happy to speak for the three of them now.
We come seeking Bruja taken as slaves from Prague. A mortal woman among them.
Slaves? Oh, yes. The
He's
slave
another one that talks
business
slowly
has
and is
been
very
so
long-winded, so this
very
takes a while.
delicious. Duke Leopold needed a force to beat back the Semites.
I think a full third
the
of this
Tremere
video
appeared
is
as if by
the
divine
setup for the
providence.
mission, not the mission itself.
The Tremere and Semites battle each other with
Because he talks so much.
surpassing fury. And I, humble ventrue that I am, I profit from the selling of slaves to both clans. The Duke and I shall ensure that the Tremere win the war, but only after I have collected much treasure from the carnage. Then shall we destroy
As
the
usual, ahead of
wounded
time before I have a chance to listen to it. If my microphone is picking up background noise, apologies for that. As soon as I started filming this, they started slamming stuff around doing construction or dumpster clean out or something outside
This
my
of the
apartment
October
building.
shipment from Prague.
Does thou
It was
think
quiet
me
up
a
till that
fool,
point. The instant
that
I
I
hit
will
record,
give
it
away
started.
that which thou wilt purchase? Presumptuous bumpkin! Shouldst thou wish to know of thy allies, thou shalt perform a mission for me.
Or we shall slice thy head halfway off thy neck. Then shalt thou beg to tell of our allies.
The Duke himself protecteth my haven. Attack me, and thou shalt suffer the most grievous retribution, and thou shalt never find thy wayward slaves. Now, enough of such talk. It is business that we have to discuss, no more. Come to my study, where we may discuss this further. Mayhap thou shalt find some delicious morsels to refresh thee.
And this is
Pray, sup with me.
he just keeps
I trust that thou wilt find these hors d'oeuvres to thy liking. If they are not pleasing to the taste, we shall have them flogged.
State thy business, Orsi.
Well, I can see thou hast no courtly manners in the bumpkin. Listen well. The Tremere have clapped their slaves away in the Tremere Chantre, die Haus der Hexe.
For those not real familiar with the setting, I do want to point out,
So,
he's,
do not
you have no
think
courtly
to try
manners
to
in the
kill
and
me
da da
to
da da
gain
da da.
them.
He's doing this
Are
because
quite
he
beyond
can,
my power.
because this is his
Only
haven and he's the
Duke
one hosting the
Leopold could
party.
convince the Tremere
Even
to
in
give
the
up their
medieval
slaves.
period, if he
The
tried to
Duke
behave
is
like this and
responsible
do
for
things like
allowing
this
the
at
Tremere
a
to lodge in
Ventru
Vienna,
event,
so the Tremere
or at a,
do his bidding.
doing something for
Assist
a Ventru
my
higher up,
ally,
they
the
would
Duke,
probably not
and he
appreciate
will
this level of
only
inhumanity
approve.
and brutality that he has. This is more his
does the
personality
Duke
than
wish?
his
End to the
position in
reign
clan.
of the
He's just a
pestilential
fucking dick.
vampire priest Luther Black. Years ago, Luther was but a mortal priest of Stephansdom Church. A wayward La Sombra sought to rule Vienna by controlling the church. and dared to
In this time,
embrace
most
Luther.
venture walk the road
We
of
sent
kings
the
rather than the
sire
road
to
of
hell.
humanity. But at the same
But
time,
Luther
that
locked himself
part of
away
that is
from the
treating
outside
those
world.
under you,
He hath retained a
with
pitiable hold on the faith he had
quote-unquote
in life,
respect and decency,
sleeps by
because
day
then,
upon a cross
they
of
will
pure silver.
follow you more willingly,
Quite
basically.
uncomfortable,
I mean, it's basically a
assume,
path
but
to
he
gaining and
fancies
keeping power,
himself
but
a
at the same time, they
martyr.
recognize
The
if you
Duke
treat
has been
people the way
unable
he
to
treats
remove this
people,
blasphemous
no
member
one is
of the
going to
Shadow
willingly
Clan,
do things
since
for you.
Luther is
And it's much easier to have people do things for you because they want to than to force them to. The Venture realize that.
Then how do we find him?
Better to ask how to bind him. Thou cannot destroy him. The priest has strange powers beyond thy ken, but thou can restrain him. Here are chains even Luther Black cannot break. I am a master of metalwork, and I have forged these shackles from a new, unbreakable alloy. Thou mayst find them useful and more reliable
Is
than
that a weaponsmith hanging
magic's
over his
in
shoulder
thy
there?
blood. Destroy Luther Black, and the
Looks an awful lot
Duke
like the guy we were
will
just talking to
retrieve
by
thy
armor.
slaves.
I mean, the guy that he's about to drain blood from here is the drunk that was being fawned over by his 3 children there. But
Not to my liking, I'm afraid. I prefer blood of a nobler sort. 'Tis my only vice.
yeah, your only vice.
Enough of this dainty preening and strutting. How do we reach the La Sombra?
Refinement is wasted on lumbering brutes such as thee. There will come a time when boorish churls are put in their place. Thou shalt find a concealed entrance to the church. Behind our famous astrological clock in the inner strat is a hidden passage. Enter by night and wait inside for daylight, and thou mayst steal into the inner haven undetected.
There we go. We're now over 12
shall
minutes
undertake thy mission.
Good. Now get the heads.
less than 40-minute long video, and we've finally gotten the freaking objective. So just for sake of playthrough, let's talk to them, see what they have
So,
to say.
Christoph has not yet perished at the hands of the vampire priest. The deadly nature of thy mission inflames my sister Teta, and my sister Zil entreats me tell thee that she too is filled with lust for thee. She cannot resist the charms of an immortal so close to death's door.
Whatever, out we go. And I go straight to where it is we need to go because I've played this game so frickin' many times I can go there on autopilot. But the first few times, if you don't have any kind of a guide or you didn't pre-scout, it can be very hard to figure out where you're going. As he says, it's in the inner Strat, the inner Ringstrasse, and there's a hidden door, and it's, well, the door itself isn't hidden, but it gets you into the hidden stuff, and it just happens to be right there. Which is very easy to miss if you're going through in a hurry and not scouting and doing a little reconnaissance. You basically just go up this house to get out onto the roof and then work your way out to the clock tower. There's really nothing going on in these. There's no danger. Although this is well lit, and well appointed for being a pretty much completely empty building here. I don't know what is going on with this. So there you go. You get out the window onto the roof. Once you're out the roof, there's some very convenient doorways, or I should say stairways, and appropriately wide ledges for you to get around. And before we get there, once we get into the clock thing, I just want to say, I unintentionally sped run this. I did not mean to. I usually takes much longer and is much harder. I believe I found a shortcut without meaning to. And then at the end, I accidentally took the quicker resolution to the dialogue. It was not my intention. I apologize for that. I was expecting it to be much longer and more difficult. So as I said earlier, when he sees his, his last sunset and all that, except for one, this is the one. This one you get inside the clock tower, and from here on out, the rest of this mission takes place during daylight hours, which adds some interesting wrinkles. So as you will see when we start this, for ease in this stage, because this one is very much a lot of timing puzzles and navigation more than it is combat, even though there is plenty of combat. I set my coterie members to not follow me because it's very easy for you to make it through a trap and then have that trap kill one of your coterie members, which is a royal pain in the ass. Anytime you spawn into a new section, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, whatever, they automatically spawn there with you so you don't leave them behind. But it is much easier to go through these by yourself and deal with it that way. You don't have somebody inadvertently getting caught in a trap and left behind, or as you will see coming up, walking out into the sun.
Thy life intact. Use thyself of thy world.
Need to get a better sword. A little bit here. There we go. Theft of Vitae. I'm not going to be feeding with him from here on. I'm going to be using that. So. There you go, there's the sunlight coming in, and it'll see what happens when you walk through the sun, you do burn.
Burns me to ash.
So you have to stay to the side in the shadows. Try to navigate around where the sunshine is coming down. And I also have the issue, remember, when I'm recording this, I have that stupid little floating icon thing that I pointed out in an earlier one. That blocks me a little bit in these when something's coming at me. So when you're, why aren't you clicking something when it's right there? I might not be able to see it because of that stupid floating tab. He has no blood left.
Come hither and hear the sweet sound of my soul.
Upside to that being they take damage, much more damage once they've lost their blood. It seems anyway. I don't know if it officially is, but they do seem to fly apart and take and die quicker that way. I don't know why it would be, but it is. They're also less likely to be a little bit long enough to run away where you gotta chase them down like you saw earlier. There are little things scattered all throughout this, so if you are running low on money or need things, keep your eyes open and watch what watch what gets dropped and is hidden behind corners and things like that.
Burns me to ash.
See, this is one of the sections with the puzzles. Which, once again, as I said, I've played this game so damn many times that I know how to get through it, so you don't see me struggle with it. The first few times I played this game back when it first came out, I played through it, quote-unquote, properly, struggling through it, figuring it out. And after I'd done it a couple of times, just to see what I might have been missing and what alternatives there were, I bought one of the old game guides that were back in the day, which I still own, that just to see, okay, was I missing anything? Were there alternative things that I could have done that could have changed the story and stuff? And there was a whole other version of the ending that I had never seen because the choices I'd made to that point made it unavailable. So, there are quite a bit of options playing this game. But that's part of it, is because the first couple of times I played this, I struggled through it so much that it's almost like it's permanently burned into my memory somewhere that, you know, you don't screw around with this stuff. This is what you need to do and how you get through it. See, that thing stops you but doesn't hurt you when you're in mist form. Then once you drop out of mist form, you do that. Now I think I have Protean, could have entered mist form without it, but they gave me the scroll, so I burned the blood. And this is what what I think I goofed up here, although in a good way, is I don't remember this being so short and having gotten through all of this before. I could be wrong, but I think I accidentally took a serious shortcut and missed a lot of the level. Again, as I say, I could be wrong, but I think that's what happened. I think I have to come through all of that to get there if I don't take that shortcut. And I'm not saying I've never gone this way, but that way before, but I didn't remember that being there. So if I have done it before, it's not been deliberate. And I just remembered, it's easy to do this one. This is one of those puzzles. The way this is set up, the two that are lit and not in shadow are the ones that you need to activate the switches. That one's pretty straightforward.
I return to thee.
I come unto thee.
I approach.
It can be, you know, a bunch of
Come hither and hear the
fiddling around with it because there's only 3 of them. It's not ridiculously bad to try to get through. There's not like an infinite number of combinations when there's only 3 switches. But still, just to make it easier going forward, if you're looking to play this, just remember the 2 that are lit are the ones you need to hit there. The one that's in shadow is in shadow for a reason. It's I'm pretty sure it's set up deliberately like that to show you, you know, highlighted the 2 that you need to get. Oops. Oh, and also, because we haven't run into them before, I should point out where it says La Sombra Ghoul. La Sombra is one of the 13 clans. As they mentioned, that's the clan Luther Blackgate or Hunting belongs to. This doesn't seem like the kind of ghouls he would normally have once you meet the character. These guys seem kind of incongruous. But the La Sombra are a clan. They're kind of the Dark Mirror version of the Ventru, in that they also are very regal, very much about power and domination and control, but they are much more, generally more brutal in their methods, in that they don't care who they step on and how they have power as long as they have power. They also tend to use the church more directly in the medieval period, where the Ventru tend to go through nobility more than the church. They look more for martial prowess and wealth rather than spiritual power and authority. And the La Sombra have power over shadows and darkness, and as they mentioned coming up in this, a quirk of their blood is that they do not cast shadows and cannot see themselves, or do not cast reflections, I should say, not shadows, and cannot see themselves. So you'll see a lot of the La Sombra havens, they are full of portrait upon portrait upon portrait of themselves. Not so much out of vanity as you kind of would think it is. It's more because literally they have no other way to see themselves. And one of the things I was years ago, I remember reading in one of the novels or in one of the short little bits of fiction that's thrown into the source books. There was one, an old La Sombra who, until the age of photography, which they still don't really photograph, but at least to some extent something of them does appear on film, like a blurry, shadowy image kind of thing. But until photography had come along, he had forgotten what he looked like. Like, he still couldn't really see what he looked like in the photograph, but even that was the first, like, in ages, the first he had seen anything of himself, his face and stuff. Like, he didn't know how other people saw him, is the best way to put it. Like, he saw it, he could not see his face, he could see his hands and arms, and, you know, the rest of his body and stuff, but he could not see his own face. He didn't even remember what kind of hair color and style he had, other than what he, you know, could pull down and look at. Which is an odd thing, but it is one of those things where if you don't cast a reflection in an era before photography and stuff, you would not know what you looked like. You wouldn't be able to see yourself. It's a weird thing, but it's a neat little thing they threw in with them. But in the game, they are the source of where the, what do you call it? The source of where the myth about vampires not casting reflections came from. It's been attributed, you know, to, obviously, just like in our world, to all vampires don't cast reflections. In this, it's a flaw of the La Sombra that then, you know, eventually people said that it was all vampires don't cast reflections. I believe some of them at certain levels don't cast shadows either. And there you go, a little trick there. If you look in the mirror, you can see lighted which of the switches here you need to hit to open those bars over there. And that's another one. You can fiddle with that. If I remember right, the first time I played, I fiddled with that until I happened to catch one of the times walking around that I could see the reflection of them in there, and a couple of them were lighted, so I hit those, and oh, surprise, surprise,
Shadows
there they
darker
are.
than night linger
All right,
here.
now we're getting toward the end of this, and we are already, what do we got, about 10 minutes of this left? Yeah, about 10 minutes. This is a relatively short one, because, as I said, I think I accidentally power leveled and did a speed run through it, and then at the end I take the easy, quote-unquote, way out at the end, even though there's a lot of dialogue involved, and I'll explain when we get to it. I goofed. I selected the wrong thing. Although, being Kristoff, it works. Like, it's an appropriate decision for him to make in character, but for the game, I feel like I picked the wrong choice. I shouldn't have been. The end result is the same, but I feel like for the gameplay, recording it to show it, I should have gone with the other option. Oh, there we go. I mentioned they have control over shadows.
Live. Then the shadows.
The same way Serena can raise spirits, they can raise shadows. They're living, sentient darkness. Yeah, in case you hadn't noticed, Serena picked up the flames power along the way. I'd stockpiled quite a bit of XP on her and Willem, so I just went and dumped them into their disciplines going forward here. Upped the stats to where I needed to be for a couple of the disciplines prerequisites, but otherwise I just dumped them into disciplines. Especially knowing this one was coming up, her fire and spirit abilities that she gets throughout the game are very, very useful in this level, so I made sure to get those up to the appropriate to make them usable for her. And now we got to get the blood back up, which is a good chunk of the remaining
Thou
time
may
here.
draw
We're
the
almost
precious
done
blood
with
from
this
my
already.
body to sustain thee.
But I couldn't remember for sure with them being on low blood and actually using the disciplines appropriately. I didn't want to go in there at a disadvantage. Because unlike when he's using fortitude to kill rats, they're actually, for the most part, using disciplines that are useful in this setting. So.
Thou may draw the precious blood from my body to sustain thee.
As you see in this level, it really wasn't all that useful. The upcoming level after this is the real reason I got that Theft of Vitae. I kind of just wanted to use it to keep my blood up and do a little extra damage to them. This one coming up after this, that I will explain once we get into it and show you why. That is almost an essential ability to have when that level comes up. You can make it through without it. I have done it. There are ways, but you are really, really handicapping and putting yourself at a disadvantage if you do not have Theft of Vitae in the upcoming mission. Even with Theft of Vitae, it is a slog. Without it, it is hours and hours and hours of struggle. The struggle buses definitely come to town when you get to that one without Theft of Vitae.
The Losombra obsess over portraiture, since they can no longer cast reflections into mirrors.
'Tis a mysterious quirk of Cain's blood.
We're getting close to his haven now. I find it funny that there are all of these mirrors around where you can't see himself. It does add a touch to the levels to have, see the reflections of everything.
To the abyss with
Things. Them and wraiths are both a pain in the butt in this game to fight.
Stand and deliver.
To the abyss.
Them and Rage both, if you don't have weapons that do aggravated damage, like just slashing or cutting or bashing or whatever damage, it does damage them, but it's a fast reduction in how much damage it does do to them. So you just stand there swinging away, and eventually you will wear down their hit points. It takes a while. Fire and weapons that do aggravated damage are so much more useful. There we go. Now we're almost there. Now you see there are these portcullises and ramps that go up to another level here. We, because of the choice I make coming up here, are not going to see that, and I don't really want to talk over. You'll see what I mean. I goof up in this one. I really do.
Why would Luther Black glorify the expulsion of Cain from the garden?
Perhaps it reminds him of his own exile from humanity.
Whom seek
If I had to guess, knowing Dark Ages vampire lore, Luther Black follows the road of heaven rather than the road of humanity.
Thou hast come
which is basically that all Cainites and everything basically are all, you know, sinners, abject sinners that need to seek redemption and
of thy blade, and the chains of
reclaim the right to go to heaven and da-da-da-da-da. Just the way he talks and some of the things he says
to keep a
make
churchman
me think
waiting.
that, he doesn't follow humanity. He
I
follows
do not seek thy death.
the road of heaven.
I only wish the return of those.
Which is one that I
innocents
never
taken
played a
from
character
me.
on, so I'm not real familiar with. I just know the basic tenet is it's very, very, very
Thou hast
much
done nothing
religious
deserving of
bent
death.
on it, and you know,
Christoph,
everyone is a
not play with
sinner.
thy
Everyone must repent and atone for their sins.
Why
and
dost thou
yada,
seek
yada.
death so ardently?
the cup which my father hath given me. Shall I not drink it?
Blasphemer! The Lord hath not commanded thy death. Thou merely seek release from the bitterness of thy unlife.
For God's sake, Christoph, kill him. He wants to die.
I see that thou art like unto me, Christoph. Thou too seek holy refuge from bitter unlife.
Once I sought that selfish goal. Now I wish only to save she whom I have imperiled.
Then thou art truly the one for whom I have prayed. If thou would redeem me.
I shall not kill thee.
Please, I beg of thee. I cannot enter heaven if I turn my hand against myself. But thou hast it in thy power to deliver me. 'Twould be an act of holiness.
If I take up thy burden, thou wouldst remain blameless, and thy sin would be mine alone to bear. Thy elevation would be my damnation.
Nay.
Aye, 'tis so.
Aye, 'tis so. Wilt thou do this for me all the same? It is more than I may ask of thee, yet I ask it still. Wilt thou take my sins upon thee?
I make the wrong choice here. At least for play-wise.
Nay, I shall not. Not even to regain
For
an
character, I think it's the appropriate answer.
If thou art
But
too craven
for
to
the
do the act for
game,
which
I
thou
should
hast
have taken
defiled
the other
my
one.
sanctum,
I as soon as I
I
clicked
shall
it,
do
I
for
said,
thee
shit, I picked the
myself
wrong one.
and remove the
I should have
stain of
saved
us
before I
all.
went into here to use the option of supporting both. But yeah, now you're in the whole room is lit by the sun. Everybody took aggravated sun damage. Yeah, so that didn't go so well. You also lose a lot of the XP and things that you could have gotten by going with the other alternative, which at some point I might do a short video, like show the other alternative. Just go back, do it, and just do a short supplementary later on of this is what I did wrong and what I missed out on. Because there are several paths in this game where you can choose the wrong thing, and I did there. So then we start, as we come down, hit the bottom of the stairs here. What happened? Oh, surprise, surprise. The vengeful bastard stabbed us in the back.
I am inside debt. Alas, I did not become the greatest.
And that is the end of this. So, be back relatively quickly with the next one, because it goes, after this, it goes directly into the next. But I don't want to show that and then cut it out and then do the next mission. So, this is going to pick up right, the next part of this cutscene is going to be where we pick up on the next one. Thank you for watching. Please give a like and subscribe if you get a chance. I will be back with the next one relatively shortly. Once this one is done, rendered, and uploaded, I will start on the next one. So have a good one. Thanks for watching. Be good to each other, and we'll see you later. Bye.